that's full of beans, and all I got left is trusty blue jeans. Comes a knife and it's so good, oh line. I've been traveling state to state, and down from here to Wandsblade, up down to the county line, where I met the girl with that redest wine. The tide comes up and my spirits go down, and now I'm left thinking about my hometown. People I love and the people I miss, and the girl I wish I could have kissed. But nothing makes me happier than being here right now, on the road, on the road.
I enjoy living in the van. It's like camping year round, which I love, and I open the door and half my room is just outside. Yeah, I've been rent-free, since February last year. And I usually just try and pay utilities for whatever, as much as I'll contribute. People usually are pretty cool with me not paying much because I contribute other stuff like fixing things or whatever else you need, like kind of like work trade, but yeah, pretty much.
And how have you been managing with groceries and food?
I started going to the food bank about a year ago. I've been a couple times, but then once I was living in a house I had mail, and so I started going every week. I just got a little bit iffy because I wasn't eating enough vegetables or fruits really, just because they're not always that fresh. You can get them, but they're kind of hash. So then I decided to get food stamps when I've been on them for I think 5 months, and that made me a lot healthier, just being able to go get a bunch of juice or get just the food that I need. And it was also nice when you don't have a place to cook stuff. Like, you can go spend $5 on a meal and be totally filled up, and feed even another person when you buy raw ingredients, but you kind of have to have a place to cook, stove, knives, all that, pans. But when you don't have any of that, sometimes you have to spend like $10 just to get one meal that'll fill you up when you're buying pre-made stuff. But also Western provides a lot of really good resources. They have computers that I can use, I think 24/7. I don't know if there's 24/7 labs, but at least I know I've been in there. I've spent an 18-hour day in the lab, and they give you like a couple hundred prints or something. You can print pages. I know you can check out stuff. They don't have payphones for students who don't have phones, but I think you can always talk to a professor. I mean, I'm fine doing some kind of work, like 4 hours a day to make money to pay rent, or just doing 4 hours of work a day, but I don't really want to do it just to make money to pay rent on something. Paying rent is something I'm not going to get back. When I spend $300 in a house, like, I'm not really getting anything back. I'm just getting like a place to stay, and I'd rather spend 4 hours like, I don't know, making someone else's life better, making my life better.
I'm Lane. I'm a full-time student and employee at the financial aid department at Western.
I'm Ashley, and I'm a recent graduate of Western. To finance school, I took out a bunch of student loans because I had a couple scholarships, but mainly student loans, and scholarships were great and I don't have to pay them back, but now I'm really stressed out about paying back my student loans.
How does a student know if they qualify for financial aid?
Academic school year, students have to fill out an online form with the federal government and enter the income of their parents or themselves if they're an independent student or a dependent student, and then associated with the incomes of their parents. And this information is kind of cross-referenced into a certain number of, what tuition costs and what the cost of living at Western is here, what their books and, other expenses would be for travel back and forth even. And based on their income and their parents' income, there's a certain estimated familial contribution that must be given towards education.
So, Lane, what is it like for students like Ashley after they graduate and paying off the student loans and financial aid that they've received? Is it different for each individual student, or is there a method for paying it back?
There's a loans and collections office on campus that can help you consolidate your loans at the end of your academic career if you received financial aid, but to my understanding you have about a 6-month grace period after you graduate where you are not required to pay any of the loans back, but then that's also a really high expectation in this economy for us as entry-level employees to potentially find a job that would pay more than minimum wage and help you to escape that barrier of where you'd be able to have that be a part of your budget. I'm a recipient of food stamps through the state of Washington. My mom made less than $20,000 last year, and so it's a way that I can help support myself. You have to apply through the state of Washington Department of Social and Health Services, although there's also a string of really great liaisons throughout the community. One of them is Opportunity Council that can also help you get set up with discounted electricity and telephone lines.
Ashley, could you tell us more about the Opportunity Council that Lane mentioned?
So Opportunity Council does act like the liaison, but they really simplify the process to get on food stamps or food assistance from the state. And it's really easy, and they're really supportive, and they totally assist you. And I don't remember the numbers of how you qualify, but I think a student who's working at least part-time qualifies for food stamps.
At least 20 hours
At least 20 hours a week. And then, so in my experience after I graduated, and it was kind of in a transition period, not sure what I was going to do, really low on funds, and so I turned to that resource, and that was really wonderful. And it's interesting because if you qualify for food assistance and food stamps, you are obviously, you fit this bracket that you also can qualify for different deferments for paying back your loans, and so you can, once you pass that 6-month grace period, if you're still eligible for food stamps, you can also defer your loans more, because those payments are really hard to make when you're still in transition. If you find yourself not being able to pay for, tuition or to support yourself, you can really seek out other resources and how you can have more funds instead of lack of funds.
So would you say that earning a college degree is worth the amount of loans and the amount of debt that you end up coming out of?
It's really complicated, I think, because in one way I would not want to be waiting for the time that I could actually afford tuition, which I think would be years from now, without a degree. So what kind of job would I be having to save? And so really, emotionally and intellectually, it was completely worth it, and it was an amazing experience. And I wouldn't want to be working until I was 25 or 27 to finally be able to afford school. But then I don't know if I can fully realize the impact that it's having on not being able to actually use the degree. How much is it worth? Do you really need to continue undergrad school to actually get a nice salary and nice benefits? Who knows? It's really confusing, and it's really difficult to graduate in this time in the economy, and you don't realize that while you're in school.
It's interesting to think about how much we learn at Western about privilege and inequality in certain aspects of breaking down the stereotypes of who receives social services, like welfare or food stamps. But if you think about it, a lot of people don't consider financial aid or other governmental subsidized monetary availabilities or opportunities that provide for higher education. I'm really lucky to be able to go to school, and I'm really lucky to be able to learn all of the things that I'm learning here, and I am so grateful that there were monies offered to me, and I'm going to have to pay them back, but at the same time, hopefully the government has given me an education and access to that, and hopefully they'll be able to find or support or instigate a new field that will allow me to have a career, to have money to pay them back.